Hi, do you want me to teach you how to make you feel like you're better than literally everyone? Let me teach you about Neovim. So, first off, disregard if my hair's a little messy. I did just get out of the shower, which is a little ironic considering what I'm about to tell you about. So, as a programmer, I've used a bunch of different IDEs over the years. I've used your VS Codes, your Eclipses, yada yada. But there was always a problem that I had. I always hated just how much bloat I would get into. Turn on VS Code. You're gonna get a what's new, a getting started. You're gonna need to get all your extensions whenever you go on a new device. All that friction. And come on, I just want to code. And then on my screen, I have the file tree. I have the tabs at the top. I have the whatever I have at the bottom. I have my AI on the side. It's just so much. And sometimes I just want to look at my file. I just want to type. I just want to code. So I ended up getting into the rabbit hole, which is Neovim. So how it all started was I basically was at a prior job of mine. So at this prior job, I ended up getting a little bored. So you have your task, you go through QA, you go through review, testing. There's so much bureaucracy that goes into it, and that ends up being a whole problem in itself. And you feel a little slow. You sometimes are left with time where you're not doing anything, time where you just need to focus on, let me just learn something else. So one thing that I heard over the years was, oh, you gotta use Vim. You gotta learn to stop using your mouse. Get off your mouse. Just use the keyboard, lock in. And I was like, you know what, screw it. I have time, why not? So you kind of just got to get into it. So one thing that I definitely want to try out, I was like, oh, I'll learn Neovim because as I mentioned in the last video, which thank you guys so much, it ended up hitting 1,000 views in like a couple days. I was so hype, the home living video. Please check it out if you haven't, and I really appreciate you guys. So as I mentioned in that video, I've been into the Primogen. The Primogen is great, and the one thing about him is he is a Neovim demon. This man loves Neovim, and he's had multiple videos on it, as you can see here. All amazing quality videos, and I highly recommend you check them out. And what this did, it gave me that idea of like, oh, if I wanted to mess around with not using my mouse, there's so many of these terminal editors, why don't I just try Neovim? Or just at least just Vim key bindings. I know I wanted to learn those key bindings. So the way that I did it without kind of making myself a bit too uncomfortable getting started is I soft launched it. There is an extension on VS Code, the main editor that I was using at the time, called VS Code Vim, or just search up Vim in your extensions store and you'll find it. And basically what I did was I had two monitors, or I just had a second screen where a cheat sheet was there. I had that cheat sheet for about like 2 weeks, and it took about those like 2 weeks of Vim key bindings to kind of really get used to it. And a big thing that I did is I did not mix business with pleasure. I was uncomfortable with it, so I would allow myself to be uncomfortable in the extra time that I had at work, and then at home, I did not have it on my personal laptop. But after those 2 weeks, I was able to kind of get a little more comfortable and not using the mouse, staying away from it. And it felt great. I felt awesome. And at that point, when I started getting the hang of it, I decided to mix business with pleasure. And I put it on my personal laptop. I put it on everywhere I had. I was like, all right, I'm going to get this extension everywhere. Still stayed on VS Code for a bit. But then when I was finally ready to make the jump, I was finally ready to get into the nitty gritty and just start living in the terminal, I looked about stuff with configs, because the big difference with like Vim and Neovim, I don't know if you've ever heard of those two editors, is that Vim written in C, and you could just associate Neovim with Lua. A lot easier to read, great language. Don't know how to write it realistically, but it's just easy to digest, and a lot of nerds have their configs up on YouTube, and the thing is, I love tech YouTube, and with those Primogen videos, I started getting recommended a lot of Neovim videos, and decided to make the jump. And the community of nerds have all the plugins you need, have everything that you think, oh, I'm gonna miss this from my editor, I'm gonna miss this IntelliSense, this, that, AI. You have all of that. They're all there. And the things that you really need to start with living in the terminal is I was with Neovim, and that icon on the top right, that's Tmux. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but if you guys wanted me to go into a more in-depth video on Tmux, I would love to. It's basically just, it stands for, I think, short for like terminal multiplexer, and just think tabs in Windows. It gets you your organization. It's very great, and sessions. But to kind of start off, here were the Neovim plugins that I started out with. You got, at the top, you got Lazy. Lazy is your plugin manager. You need to have a plugin manager. You missed your file tree, but you want to get through files a lot more efficiently. I love Telescope. Telescope is an amazing plugin for kind of file search. and file search, and then also switching between files. And then lastly at the bottom, you got Mason. Mason was kind of my LSP. And what an LSP is, it is a, think of like the way you get different languages to work and be recognized by your editor, like the way that you have to download all of those languages and they're kind of packs in VS Code. This, all I got to do in my config, I just add that language to a list. There it is. Mason gets it done for me. And you got your highlighting, you got everything. And the main thing when I was setting it up is I didn't know Lua. I still don't know Lua. I know how to read Lua, but ask me to write a Lua program from scratch, I'm not going to do it. But with how much that is available on the interwebs and how much that OpenAI has definitely very legally grabbed and trained on, yeah, it can make you a pretty good config. Just tell what you want. Oh, I want my parentheses to auto close. I want this syntax highlighting. I want these languages. I want these plugins. Boom. And that's how I made my first config, which I'll see if I can link in the description. I'll try. But yeah, it was really easy, and it comes so much in handy. Just you feel like a straight up hacker. And now all you need to do, the portability of it, instead of having to sign into your account whenever you do on a new device, with my Neovim config file, I just have my .config wherever I need it. And on the cloud, like on Drive, or a lot of people put it on GitHub, you just need it on your device. And once it's on your device, you get it set up. You're good. You're good. You're done. It will set up. You install your plugins instantly. You're good, and you're up and running. And the great thing about learning these key bindings is, at work, I work on a bunch of like servers and stuff here and there, or even on my home lab, as I mentioned in the last video. Check it out. Is I just go on these VMs and containers, stuff like this, where you don't have your pretty UI, you don't have your pretty editor. But you want to know what they all do have? They got Vim. So if you want to be able to mess around with some files and just actually use text editing, which is what programming is you got to know the key bindings. So now I just feel like a straight up hacker at work. And then if you know Neovim and you know these Vim key bindings, people end up kind of asking you for help sometimes. It just feels good. And like I said at the beginning, start feeling like you're better than everyone else. That's a joke, I promise. Kind of. The great thing about it is it's so easy. It just, whenever you have a bit of free time, just breaking away from the mouse, I genuinely felt so much faster. And it was so crazy to me to have that realization. I was clowning this for years. My brother was on me. He's an older engineer, and he was clowning me. That was like, hey, like, get on this. He was stubborn. And I was like, no, I don't want to learn that. That's ancient. Why would I ever do that? Now I preach it to everyone. And the one thing is, let me show you real quick just how real good it looks. It's just so simple. All you do is when you have it, you just do the Neovim command, and there, you're in Neovim. And a lot of VMs that you might enter SSH into, they have Vim installed already. But for now, let's say you installed Neovim, you got your plugins. Let me show you mine. Look, Neovim, you're in it. And now if I want to do Telescope, I'm in Telescope. I go through my different files. They'll usually show a preview on the side. These are a little empty. You got like, share, and subscribe, which you should definitely do. And once you get out of those, like, you just quit. Actually, I don't know how to show you this, because the one thing about Neovim is once you enter, you're never going to know how to escape. And that's not for me to teach you. Thank you for watching. And yeah, let me know if you like this content. I love making it. It was a lot of fun. Great reception. And tell me what editor you use. Put it in the comments. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And yeah, if you like this video, drop a like, subscribe, and see you in the next one.